Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about freelance work versus regular jobs. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, hi Frederick, do you prefer freelance work or a regular job? And uh, what is your current job now? Freelance or regular, quote unquote, whatever, like regular. We're gonna touch on that. So when you say regular work, I'm assuming here that you're kind of broad stroking it and say that, well, I have a regular 9 to 5 type of thing, like I go to work every morning and to the same place, or like, because the thing is, usually I'm just going to give this information to whoever may not know that. For an average the software developer will have do one of three things usually. Now you might be a freelancer, and as a freelancer, well, you're your own person, right? You're basically just finding gigs, trying to find projects that you can build for somebody somewhere, right? And you can also be a consultant. We work for I mean, it's not really freelancing because then you're really on your own in a sense. But as a consultant, you could of course also be considered a freelancer as a consultant, or like you're running your own company. But you can be part of a consultancy. In other words, you're working for a bigger company who gets you the client and all the projects and so forth, and then they pay your salary, and usually they take a hefty margin from whoever is hiring you from them. And then finally, you can work at a product company. In other words, you're working for something like Google, Facebook, anybody who's like, they have digital products that they sell, and you work for them and you develop those digital products specifically. It's not with a consultancy, you work for like different clients on different projects, but when you're working for a product company, you're actually working for the product, you're hired by that company. So I work at a fintech company, which would categorize me as a product company, or like I work for a product company. As for working as a freelancer, I really don't have an extensive amount of experience working as a freelancer. I only did it for a while in the very beginning of my career, and I don't think it's fair for me to say this or that about whether one is better or than the other, because I don't really think we should think in those terms. I think that I can give you my experiences, the reason why I prefer to work for a product company, and the reason why I very quickly went from doing freelancing work over to working for a product company. But I also want you to understand that my reasons for doing that are very personal to me. And I've said on many occasions that the dangers that come with doing freelance work can also be strengths depending on how you go about it. Now, I've said on multiple occasions that I think it is in general a very risky move for someone who is completely fresh to software development, who's like either complete straight out of college, or if maybe you're self-taught or whatever, to just do freelancing work. I think it's a very good thing. I mean, any work is work. So if you want to do freelance work, go for it. But I think it's very important and healthy for you to, at the very least once or twice in your career, spend a little time working for the bigger IT companies, or even mid-sized IT companies or consultancy, like just work in a company at some point, because it is going to educate you a lot. It's it's similar to, I mean, there are many occupations where I think that this is healthy. I mean, if you're going to be a doctor or an attorney or something like that, sure, you can set out on your own from day one and like just do your own thing. But I think that it's extremely healthy for you to get some exposure to the mainstream standard stuff that everybody's kind of doing first, so you kind of know what is it all about. And the reason why I think that there are a lot of benefits in just having a regular job, at the very least in the beginning, is because it will teach you a lot when you need it the most. When you have the experience and the seniority to kind of just you don't need a lot of assistance, and you can produce quality work without much problems really. then I think that you should really try it at least once to be a freelancer, do your own thing, run your own company, do something like that. It's a new chapter in your life. It's something that is going to develop you. You can go there immediately and still make it work. I'm just trying to give you my personal feelings on the subject, and that is the thing that I did, or this is the thing that I basically do, where I realized very early on that my number one priority is to find coworkers and work opportunities that will develop me into the best software developer that I can be. Now, there is no way for me, well, I will go as far as to say that there is no way for anybody to reach such a goal by just doing freelancing work. It's not possible, simply because you, depending, even if you are like the most gifted junior developer in the world, you will not be able to progress as fast as alone as you could if you had senior coworkers who mentored you and coached you and taught you about all the things that you don't really know about. Because that's the thing, when you don't know what a good practice looks like, or what's a good bet, what's a bad bet, you have to have someone else to give you that experience. That's, we have schools, we teach our kids, that's the whole that's the whole baseline of how we spread knowledge in our society, right? And so that's why I prefer a regular job, because it gives me the stability that I need and the environment that I need in order to thrive and really mature my own knowledge. However, when I get to a point where I feel like, well, there's not much more for me to learn here, or there's not much more for me to gain from this job, then I either move, well, historically that's what I've been doing at the very least, then I move on to another company or a different role where I get to face new challenges, which is, well, from my perspective, are interesting things that are going to develop me even further. And I can promise you that the idea of running my own company and so forth, and doing freelancing work, is one of those things. And however you start doing it, I don't think that is the most important thing in the world, if you have the same ambitions as I do. If your ambitions is to make a lot of money, or like other things, that's a whole different topic. We can absolutely discuss that. But for me, I think it's extremely healthy to try out, to stand on your own two legs for a little while. Not necessarily because your coding is going to get all that much better. Your technical skills as a freelancer may not improve all that much. I mean, as you can imagine, I've been working for a few years now, and I know what I kind of know how to work on very small projects, and I also know how to work on fairly large projects. And anything I could do, as usually at the level as like a normal freelancing gig is going to look like, I've already seen a lot of that stuff in the bigger projects that I've been part of. But if I were to do the freelancing gig at my current point in my career, it wouldn't be because I thought that, oh, I'm going to become like even better at the coding, but I would develop the business mindset. I would develop a sensation of personal value and achievement if I could run my own business and feel like I'm my own boss and I actually make this thing work. It would probably develop me in many other ways. So that's why I think that what I prefer right now in my career is the regular job, and it's really only because I still feel that there are areas within my personal development that I want to develop even further, and a regular quote-unquote job is right now the best way for me to do that. But I promise you that is not necessarily a permanent thing, and I think that there are many benefits to doing your own thing and being a freelancer. So what I want you to take away from this is that if you want to, I mean, pros and cons. Freelancers in general, I mean, if you're doing your own thing and if you have a steady client base, well, then that's a very good thing for you and you have a lot of freedom. But at the same time, building up that client base might be a very big challenge for you. You may not, if you're fairly junior in your skills, develop your skills as much or as quickly as you would like, and that's where a regular job really shines, and you get a lot of stability. But I mean, the trade-off is, of course, all the freedom and all the other benefits that you get from being a freelancer. And I don't think that you should, well, that's at least how I feel about it, treat each one or the other as exclusive. I think that by the end of your career, try out both. do the thing that feels right for you, but don't be scared to try something out, because the demand for software developers it's extremely high. And if you're smart with your money and you save some stuff up, there's no reason for you to be afraid of going at it alone for a little while when you have the skills. Or reversing the thing, if the job market in your region looks kind of poor and it's hard to get a job at one of those big IT companies, well, don't waste that time. Even if you want to get into the bigger IT companies, use that time to gain more weight to your CV by doing freelance work, because even though freelance work may be different from that which you get at a big IT company, it's still adding things to your CV. And the stronger your CV is, the more likely you are to actually be able to go and get one of those regular jobs. Have a great day.